Hi everyone, welcome to another video here on my channel. If you are new or if you don't know who I am, my name is Shondine. Today we are going to be talking about DoorDash. So if you haven't already, grab your drinks or grab your snacks and let's get started. For those of you who don't know me, I do DoorDash full-time as my only job. I was actually thinking about doing this video a while ago, but I didn't know that this would be something anybody would want to see. Then I actually got a few requests for it, so here I am. So I guess I'll kind of go back to when I first started DoorDash and then what kind of led me to choosing to do DoorDash only full-time. It was a few months ago, I would say about in March, when I was working full-time at a call center position and I wanted to get an extra job so I can make extra income to pay down some debt. And that's when my aunt had actually suggested DoorDash. So I ended up trying it out and I actually ended up really liking it. Even though I really liked it, I never thought that, oh, this is what I want to do full-time or what I was eventually going to do. Fast forward a couple of months until last month in July, I actually ended up losing my full-time position at the call center. So at that time, I was really only left with DoorDash. And during that time when I was only doing DoorDash and kind of like uncertain about what I wanted to do, I was thinking about applying to full-time positions again. But the more I thought about it, the more DoorDash only really fit my position. And one thing that really factored into my decision was that I am going back to school full-time this semester. And because of the benefits that DoorDash has that I'm going to be talking about a little bit later, I chose to only do DoorDash. And now that's what I'm doing. So now that I've kind of given like my little history about it, I will just go ahead and get into the pros and cons. So I have a list here that I'm going to be referring back to. So if you see me looking down, that's because of that. I don't want to miss anything. The first pro that I have is that it's very flexible. There's never a certain time that you have to do DoorDash. You don't have like a regular manager that has shifts for you. It's literally just whenever you have time, you log in and you make some money. I really enjoy that because I am a night owl. I don't sleep until late, so I'm up all night and it actually gets sort of busy at night, which is perfect for me because that's when I like to work. I like to have my mornings to myself. And the other thing is I live in Arizona and in the summertime the heat is like killer. I don't typically go out like in the afternoon, like noonish or even a little bit after that, because it's still just so dang hot. And it's a little bit cooler at night, but it's also like the sun is not out, so it's nice that I get to choose when I want to do the work. So basically you get to choose how much or how little you want to make. The next pro is personally a pro for me, and that is that I get to listen to my music and to podcasts while I'm working. I have been struggling with depression and anxiety for like the longest time, and I found that driving and listening to music or listening to podcasts where I'm really invested into what I'm listening to, it really calms me and I really enjoy it. So the fact that I get to do it and make my money, that's a pro for me. The next pro is like kind of connected with that as well, is that you can bring friends along with you. Even though DoorDash doesn't have set hours, because it's my full-time job, I try to treat it as my full-time job as best as I can. So that means like 8-hour shifts that I try to get myself to do. I still struggle sometimes with making time for friends and sometimes even my boyfriend or my family. So sometimes what they'll do is they'll come along with me for like 2 or 3 hours and we'll just hang out and talk while I'm working. Another pro is that there is really no dress code. So basically you can DoorDash in anything that you want. For me, what I usually DoorDash in is like these black leggings that I have, or like black biker shorts, and then I usually wear like an oversized t-shirt because, you know, I'd be a little sensitive about my weight. I'll be wearing those super comfortable outfits while I'm DoorDashing and nobody's gonna tell me anything. The next pro is that we do get paid weekly. So how the week works is it starts Monday night at 12 a.m. and then the cycle ends on Sunday at midnight. So all of the trips that you do and all of the money that you make from Monday through Sunday is what will be paid out to you. Monday, that's when they release the funds. Now for me, because I have it linked directly to my direct deposit, I get it Monday evening, and that's every week, which I really like. I really love weekly pay. There is another option for payout that I haven't personally used, but I know that it's there, is take out your pay the same day that you make it, but it costs a fee. Okay, I tried looking on my phone about the exact fee. I can't find it because I don't use it, but it's called Fast Pay, and you link your debit card to it and you can get paid out the same day that you make the money. There's that. And then the next pro is benefits. And when I say benefits, I don't mean just like regular health benefits, but also like discounts and coupons and those kinds of benefits that they offer as well. So I don't actually use health insurance, you know, like medical, dental, and vision from Doordash personally, because I might still be able to have the same insurance for my previous job if I pay separately, if that makes sense. So I'm still trying to decide on how to do that, but I know that Doordash offers benefits, which I think is really cool, because even if you do like a small amount of trips or a small amount of money, you can still get benefits through them. If you do Doordash and you know a little bit more about the benefits than I do, feel free to comment down below and let us know what that is like and what that coverage is like, because again, I don't know. But moving on to the other types of benefits, so they have a few different things that are like related to Doordash. So for example, a few things that I'm using are like a free subscription to Everlands, which is an app that tracks your miles, because of course you're using your own car and you want to be able to use those miles you put on it as a write-off for taxes. Another thing that they have been offering is these health discounts. So basically they are offering $4 urgent care visits for like up to 4 visits. And then another thing was you could have a counseling session or like a psychiatric session for only $4 with the code as well. Now those were only one-time things, but it's really beneficial. Overall, they just have discounts and coupons for like different types of things. I know that some other companies, they always have like their benefits page as well, you know, where you can get discounts. Basically, Doordash has that as well. I didn't write this down in my list, but I'm gonna go off of it because it is sort of a pro as well. So when Corona started, they started this thing where DoorDashers could go onto their website and order gloves, masks, hand sanitizer. All you had to pay was shipping. So I ordered a few of those, and each time it was only $5 for the shipping. It was nice that they were willing to work with and provide those things when everything happened with the coronavirus. So here I am again editing, and I just remembered another pro that I forgot to add is that signing up for DoorDash, like actually getting started, is actually pretty easy. I know that sometimes when I've recommended someone, they've got a sign that was saying that they weren't accepting DoorDashers at the time, but then later on I know that they tried again and they were able to successfully set it up. And actually setting it up and putting your information and getting started is really, really easy. The longest part of the process is the background check, which is like typical, but yeah, it's pretty easy to get started with it. So I think those were all of the pros that I had. And now we're gonna switch over to the con side. So the first con that most people think of course, is the wear and tear that you put on your vehicle. So for me, I am doing a lot of DoorDash because I'm doing it full time. So that's a lot of time that I'm spending in my car. If you're doing DoorDash, you really just need to be mindful about the maintenance of your vehicle. So this could be anything like oil changes, tires, and just like general things in your car that wear out like at a normal pace. They do it probably like twice as fast when you're doing DoorDash, at least as much as I'm doing DoorDash. Low key, I got interrupted and I sort of forgot where I was at. So I feel like if you have a vehicle maintenance sinking fund, or you just have savings, I think that you'll be fine, honestly. Again, I haven't been doing DoorDash full time for like the longest time. I've been doing it for like a month and a half. So I haven't seen the full effects as opposed to like what a year will cost like, but things that would normally happen, but they just happen quicker, if that makes sense. So just be prepared for that. And then of course, the other thing that goes with that, the next con, is mileage. You will put a lot of miles on your car. That's just the truth. So when you're doing DoorDash, you really want to be adamant about tracking your mileage. That way, again, when taxes come, you can use that as a write-off. I haven't been doing that as consistently as I should be. So unfortunately, I don't have anything like specific to show you, but that is a con, is added mileage to your vehicle. So another con is that when you get paid from DoorDash, they do not take out any taxes. So whatever amount you earn, you get that. It's not like you got a gross amount and then a net amount. No, you get all of your gross amount. What that means is you have to take out your taxes on your own. The typical percentage that I would recommend would be 20 to 30%. If you want to be really conservative, I would say 30%. If you're more like, okay, that's a little bit less, then 20% would be fine as well. This is sort of a con because if you're a person who is not responsible enough to take out your own taxes, because it can be very tempting to keep the whole thing and then you'll deal with the consequences later. So if you're not responsible, then that could be a little bit of an issue. There are definitely ways that you can fix that though, and I haven't filed a year yet where I've been doing DoorDash. So when you're DoorDash, you're technically like self-employed, like you're a contractor. So doing your taxes is going to be different than when you work for a corporate job or like a regular job where they tax you. I don't know the full effects of how that process works. Again, if you have done DoorDash and you've done your taxes including DoorDash, comment down below and let us know what that exactly is like and what you can expect when it comes to the taxes portion. Another con is that it does take up a lot of gas. I probably spend around $60 to $80 a week on gas. For me, that's a lot because before I was fine with like $30 to $40 when I was working like my regular job and then just like a little part-time DoorDash. But ever since then, I've been spending like twice that amount, which I mean obviously makes sense because you're driving a lot and you need more gas. And though I'm not a huge fan of getting gas so much, I've gotten used to it. Another con I have here is sometimes there are issues within the app. There are a few times where I have tried to go out door dashing and it says it's busy, but when I log in and I start my dash, I won't get an order. I don't know exactly like what the issues are, but sometimes it'll prevent me from logging in and making some money. And these issues range from like everything. And now that I'm talking about that, I'm thinking about a pro side to that issue is that for the app, anytime that you have an issue with an order or you have a question or really anything like that, they have a help section where you can chat with someone or you can call someone and speak with them about the issue that you're having. And all of my experiences has actually been really good. The people that are giving you help are usually really nice and quick and they get to the point and they are pretty efficient in helping you with your problem. And they always try to make it fair to you. So if, for example, you go to Jack in the Box and when you get there, you find out that the person canceled their order, they will issue pay for half that was originally intended for the order. I didn't have this con on my list, but I'm thinking of it, but I thought of it as I was talking, is door dashing is definitely an independent job. You're alone most of the time. So if you're that person that really needs to have like coworkers and like an environment where there's lots of people and that type of thing, it might not be for you. But there's also another part to that where when you're door dashing a lot, you tend to go to the same restaurants a lot and the people in those restaurants tend to get to know you a little bit. And those not like regular coworkers where you see them every day and you have those relationships and you have all these people around you. You can still make connections with people when you're door dashing. My God. I know this video is already going to be so long. I hope it's been helpful so far. But those were all of my pros and cons. The next thing I'm going to do is just like go over things in DoorDash and then just like give a few tips for DoorDash. So the first thing I'll do is show you my ratings. I guess that's kind of the same thing as with other jobs, especially with call center jobs, is you are given metrics like how long your call is, how long you spend off the phone. Well, for DoorDash, the ratings are if you have any orders that have never arrived or pieces of an order that never arrived, that's one rating. Another one is a typical, I guess, like star ratings, like out of 5, what would the customer rate you? And then another rating is your acceptance rate. That means when you're getting orders, you can see the basic details of it before you accept it. And if you see something that you're not comfortable with or don't like, you can decline it. So the acceptance rate is the percentage of the orders that you accept out of the orders that you're given. The next rating is your on-time rate. And what that means is the percentage of when you arrive to the restaurant on time, when you pick up the food on time, and then when you deliver it on time. And I believe it gives a window of 5 minutes. So let's say that you get to the restaurant at like 12 o'clock and the app says you need to pick up the food and leave by 12:10. If you don't get the food and leave until like 12:13, then that's still considered like on time. Another rating is your completion rate, and that's basically the percentage of how many orders you actually start and finish all the way through. So you typically don't want to accept an order and then cancel it. And then the last thing is not a rate, but it just shows you how many deliveries you've done total since you've been door dashing. And now that I've explained those a little bit, I'll just go ahead and include a picture of my rating as of right now right here. So because I'm recording this on my phone, I can't see my ratings, so I just wrote them down real quick. But as you can see, I had one order that the customer stated they never received, and I know that's true because it was late at night. It's like sometimes some apartment complexes or like housing units, I don't know how to explain it, but it's really difficult to find sometimes. And that was one of those times where like each building had numbers from like 1 to 6. So it was never like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, whatever. It was always 1 to 6, 1 to 6. So it was kind of hard to see exactly what building it was. So I did leave it at the wrong building, and I actually continued getting orders to the same house from then on, so like a few nights after, and I learned where the actual house was. You can see the 4.74, that is what the customers have decided to rate me out of 5, which I think is pretty good. And then you can see I have an 84% acceptance rate, so I will get into that in just a few moments after I explain the ratings. Then I do have a 99% completion rate. I hardly ever don't finish an order. If I don't ever finish an order, it's because they ended up needing to do something else at that moment. If you hear my voice like going in and out, excuse me. I've been doing a lot of talking. This is more talking than I do like every single day. And then you can see here 83% on time or early percentage. That is pretty low because I have this habit of logging into my DoorDash app and saying I'm ready to take orders when I'm actually still at home getting ready to leave, because I don't always expect to get an order so quickly, but I am working on that. But I also have an issue sometimes with that because sometimes it's not my fault, it's the restaurant's fault, and I don't completely know if the app understands that. So one thing I do want to mention after you seeing those ratings is that because my ratings are generally really good and usually higher than that by the end of each month, I have been what's considered top dasher for the last 2, I think this is my 3rd month being a top dasher. And also how many dashes you do in a month. I think to be a top dasher, you have to do at least 200 deliveries each month, which I do. Anyways, the benefits that come with being a top dasher, I can really only think of one is when you go into the app and it says it's not busy. Regular DoorDashers, they can't DoorDash at that time. They have to wait till it gets at least a little bit busy. But if you're a top dasher like me, then you can still DoorDash during that time. So basically I can DoorDash anytime that I want to. I was just about to show you, but I'm recording with my phone. I find that actually when it's not busy and I start my DoorDash, it actually is kind of busy. Maybe they don't have enough top dashers, but I tend to get higher paying jobs quicker. I think because I'm one of the few dashers that are DoorDashing. And then like another piece of that is when I'm DoorDashing, I will get considered for the jobs before other people. It was never my intention to become like a top dasher. I honestly didn't even know that that was a thing, but now every month I try to make sure I get that. So now that we've covered the top dasher portion, we'll just go into the tips that I have. One thing I didn't write down, but I do want to mention, is that they do have a referral program. If you refer someone and they do a total of 220 DoorDashes, I believe it is, in a certain amount of time, then the person who referred will get $200. So I referred my friend like a month ago. Right now she has until the 25th of August to complete 220 deliveries, and so far I think she's done like a little over half, but I'm telling her to get her butt in gear so I can get that $200. But they have that, and I know that like regular corporate jobs, especially call centers, they have the same referring program. If you bring someone in and they stay for a certain amount of time, they will give like a bonus. A tip that I personally use is I don't accept Walmart trips. That's just something that I don't ever do. As soon as I see Walmart pop up, I will decline it. It's because they typically range from like $3 to like $6. And with Walmart trips, you spend so much time and energy that it's just not worth the highest amount, $6. First, you have to go to Walmart and then wait in their outside pickup, which can take literally anywhere from like 10 to 40 minutes. I've waited over 40 minutes for a Walmart order to be delivered to me. So not only that, but then you have to take it to their place, of course, and then if they live in an apartment, you have to take all of their bags up to their apartments. And people don't order Walmart orders with like 5 bags. It's usually like 50 bags that you have to take. And so I'm just not cool with bringing up 50 bags of groceries to the 3rd level of an apartment in 100+ degrees for $6. It's just not worth it. I mean, sure, people can add tips after you do the deliveries, but people don't always tip. The next tip that I have is when an order comes up, I like to compare the total pay to the total miles that you were gonna do for the order. So for example, if an order comes in at $5, the pay is $5, but the total miles that you're gonna drive is 10 miles, I don't do that. Or let's say an order will come in that pays $3, but the total miles spent are like 6 to 8 miles, I don't do that. And typically when I decline those orders, I will get a higher paying order like right after that. So I always try to consider the miles compared to the pay. Something else that I want to share is, like I said, I DoorDash at night sometimes, like really late at night, and I would just say be really cautious about everything, you know, around you, or like the people around you. Sometimes you'll get an order that's like to a house like outside of the city almost, or even just like in the corner of like a dark neighborhood. Just like always be cautious. If you have something to protect yourself, always bring it. Like if you have like a knife or like mace or anything like that, I would always recommend bringing that. I haven't had any scary experiences yet, but like you never know. Like today, you just really need to be cautious. So I would also say, if you can, bring someone with you. I can't always bring someone with me because my boyfriend is usually waking up for work when I'm still DoorDashing. And then my friend who I used to go with, she does it on her own now. So I can't always have someone with me late at night, but I would definitely recommend that. Also, probably something you're wondering is how much you can make on DoorDash. So typically orders can range from like $3 a trip to like $15 a trip. I would say probably the average for each trip is usually and then typically you can do about 2 to 3 orders per hour. That's just what I've experienced so far. Really, you can make anywhere from like 15 to 20 plus an hour. I've had some hours where I've made like 30 plus an hour, and then I've had some where I've only made like 15. When I first started a few months ago, I was consistently having $20 hours all the time. But I think because more people have gone towards DoorDash, there's less orders for each person. So I don't consistently get $20 hours anymore, but I do still get really good hours. And I think the pay is worth it. Whether you're doing part-time or full-time, I think it still has pretty good opportunities. You also just have to know when the really good hours are. So for example, really good hours are like the weekend evenings, and really just evenings in general. It also gets really busy after midnight. It's really specific to my area. That's usually when it's really busy. So it's kind of just like when it's busy, you have to DoorDash, or you at least have to know when it's busy. That way you can like schedule that time out and you can do your orders during that time. Overall, I haven't had too many negative experiences. I've only had like two like rude or crazy customers, and even then both of those times like was not my fault. Sometimes restaurants can take a while, but they usually tend to pay higher, so there's that. Sometimes people will just not tip. I know that deliveries to apartments can also be frustrating because sometimes apartment complexes, they don't have building numbers, or it's really hard to see apartment numbers, or maybe just the layout is like crazy and it can take some time to find the actual apartments. Those are just some things that I found frustrating while doing DoorDash, but I've never had like super terrible experiences where I'm like, I'm never doing DoorDash again. So do with that what you will. I think that's pretty much everything that I can cover for DoorDash. I guess overall, it's really more for people who are comfortable with working alone and on their own, as opposed to like working for a team or with other people. I would recommend DoorDash. I enjoy doing it. So as I'm editing, I realized that I forgot to mention one part. I forgot to mention exactly how my transition has been going. So for me, it's been kind of hard to transition from a regular full-time job to like doing DoorDash full-time, because it's almost kind of hard to consider doing DoorDash full-time like a regular job, because you don't have a set schedule and you don't have like a manager you report to. It's been kind of hard for me to like actually set up a schedule and stick to it, because really like no one is really going to be like on my case if I don't. So that's been something that's been kind of hard to me for transferring. That is about it. So if you have any questions that I didn't answer, or if you want me to look more into certain areas that I didn't really cover, please comment them down below. I want to answer all of your questions and concerns about possibly doing DoorDash. Give this video a thumbs up if you liked it, and make sure to be subscribed to see my future videos. I am going to be posting a cash envelope stuffing / budget update here on Saturday, and then of course future videos to come. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on Saturday.